steps up. Huntley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game. This is Live TV. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. Right here in the Municipal Building in Bethel Park. Police is to the right. Library's up above. The mayor's office and admin, they're up top. So check it out. We've been doing this show for 11 years. Can't believe it. About 800 shows unofficially. We got a little dispute on the number.
This is 797.
All right, officially from Nick Callis, who go to Pittsburgh Sportsline channel on YouTube. All of my shows have been put up there with great graphics and everything. Every show is numbered. The guests, we don't know. If you've been on a show, you can check it out. It's called Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. So check it out on YouTube. Smoking Jim on your Mac Pro and 3 iPhones. Type in Pittsburgh Sportsline, one word, space channel on YouTube, and you'll see the masterpiece of VIP Nick Callis. Just had to share that with you. Thanks to all of you watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all the points in between. Yes, the city of Pittsburgh and the greater Pittsburgh area. You can watch us from all over. People know who we are, so we appreciate you. Ralph just said hello. Prayers to his wife, Rhonda. She just had a toe operated on today, so you take care, Ralph. And he canceled his show tonight, so on PCTV, you have to wait for another edition to come out. Maybe watch it on Thursday nights with He Stole My Co-Host, Smoking Jim Frazier. I kept it a secret that he stole my co-host. My Ed McMahon, he stole him. But hey, I wish them both good luck in whatever they do. They want to talk wrestling. Hey, I know it's all fake. If they believe it, that's on them. But I know plenty of wrestlers, including Kurt Angle, and so I know the real deal, okay? And I appreciate all of you watching our show. Thank you for all the likes. I'm not sure what we do have, Nick. We had like
6989.
6989. We need 11. You can go back to liking us. The people that got off of it, hey, you got to get back on it. So we'll do that. Then I'm going to try to cut down a little bit on my promos. We'll check the timer right now, and we got our great promos. We got Buck Gasper, the pitcher, one of the pitchers on the 5A back-to-back Bethel Park High School champions. They were just honored in Harrisburg this past week. He missed our show because they took a – who would think he'd miss a show because he's taking a tour of the Capitol in Harrisburg? But they had to do it, and he couldn't get the bus back. So that's why he missed. I'm thought in. You find it?
Yeah, I subscribe.
Okay.
Yay! All right.
What do we got? 24 subscribers.
Let me see if he's telling the truth.
All right. Here we go.
I get a notification every time someone does.
All right, Buck, here we go. We need that close-up on Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Look at that camera work by Buck. Otherwise known as Nick, but I don't want to have a Nick 1 and Nick 2. We had a bad experience with A1 and A2. And they're in our past. The less said, the better. I said too much. All right, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Frank Fanera is the owner. He sponsors us with an XL pepperoni pizza and a steak hoagie. He said hi to Smoking Jim. If you want to find out more, check out their website, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Give them a call and just ask questions. They'll answer. 412-831-1900.
Spoken did subscribe. Update. He didn't lie. He didn't lie.
Unbelievable. That's the first opening we've ever had somebody admit he didn't lie. 11 years it took.
Yeah.
Way to go, VIP. All right, let's see what Buck got. Look, he got this. I end each show with Stay Joey Strong, honoring the 8-year-old Joey who died. Joey Fabus died of PG, brain cancer. It killed him. His family started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. You can find out more from them. And they've been raising money, and they've raised over $100,000. Check out their events, and we're going to move through these rather quickly. So, all right, next one up, Buck's on fire. Oh, he's got me. Nice shot of me. Excellent. The B and Always Be Smiling stands for Bennett. He was a handicapped 16-and-a-half-year-old with many problems and handicaps. He had 2 kidney transplants. His dad was the last one, Dean. His dad and mom, Kristen, created Always Be Smiling because he was happy every day of his life with all his problems. So check out their website, Always Be Smiling. Check out their Facebook page. All right, another 501c3. Let's see what Buck does on this while I take a sip of my sun-kissed orange. He got it. Bethel Park Historical Society's Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. You can go to their website and find out them. I think they're BethelParkHistoricalSociety.org. They have a great coffee shop, Reginald's Coffee. I drink my green tea there. Best roasted coffee in the area. Just ask my couple hundred friends whether they like it or not. They'll all say yes. But check it out. It's a great place for events and stuff. Follow them on Facebook. You'll see their activities. All right. Another 501c3, Bethel Park Community Foundation has grant money for you from $100 to $5,000 to make your group better and promoting good things in Bethel Park. You can go to bpcf.org, get an application. We meet once every 2 months. Check out their site, 3Ws, bpcf.org. Get an application and see how we've given out over $1 million in 26 years. Jim, how am I doing on the promos?
Doing good and still looking good.
Okay, thank you.
Doing good and still looking good.
Still looking
Thank
good.
you.
There's 2 gyms down here.
Well,
You thought he had
I
double
just
vision.
call you smoking.
Okay, there you go.
Dave Cable likes to have a little fun, and he put my face on Uncle Sam. I had a picture, I think I showed Smoking Jim, where I went to the Forge, and there was an Uncle Sam. I'll have to show you that picture where I was standing with Uncle Sam. I don't know if I can put it up. Let me see if I can pull this up. Nick, you'll have to help me get back. Yeah. He's the real...
Where did you take it?
I got to get photos
There
here.
goes the 7 men.
I'm trying to...
Here, I'll find it.
It's
Back
in the
up to
last
15.
week or so. All right, we're working on that. But you can go... Wait, we did the... Wait a second. We still got Uncle Sam. Call BPTV. You can be
He's doing
working
so
for
well.
us like Buck, like Nick. And I want you for BPTV, 412-831-3304. You can have fun with us doing audio and video and more. All right, shout out to Dick Kraft. He has this wreaths across America that the Bethel Park Historical Society is promoting. I'll bring it up in a second, Buck. And it's www.wreathsacrossamerica.org, PA 0627P. All right, we got a picture. I don't know if Nick or if Buck can pull that up. Is it even possible?
No, you can't really zoom in.
All
on it,
right,
but-
here, show that to Smoking Jim. Jim. You can see that, Smoking Jim. Getting back to the...
Well, the rails, please stand up.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that was a show, a by request show I did with Jessica Lee.
Okay.
And the owner's a 40-year veteran of the Marine Corps. He owns a forge, and he owns a great winery called Urban Winery. It's won awards all over the country and the world.
Wow.
So he has an event there on Thursday night. Come on out, Smoking Jim, Homestead,
Was he ever
right near the Homestead Bridge.
Was he ever stationed at that place they keep showing commercials on?
Don't believe that.
Oh, Lejeune.
Yeah, that's sad.
All right. Reese across America, did we get that close up on there? We're ready for you, Buck.
Yeah, I think he's on it.
All right, good. Just wanted to show that again. If you put it close on your screen, you can see all that. They have applications, Dick said, to make sure you tell them you can get the application there or contact the Bethel Park Historical Society. So that's my wrap up on promos. That's the quickest I've ever done them.
Impressive.
We got to do What's on Your Mind. Smoking Jim Frazier, not Jim Ellenbogen.
The talking machine, and if you want the green, woo, you got to see Levine. Pitch out to my partner. I got to ask my man Buck. Buck, has the Penguins lost 3 or 4 in a row?
I'm not a Penguins fan.
Not sure. Okay, how many 4 in a row? Okay, wasn't sure.
How
Hey,
many did they win? Hold it. Disclaimer.
I wasn't sure.
Disclaimer. Why didn't he say one word about the Penguins when they won their
You know, I'm a
first 3
Penguin fan.
games?
I'm a Penguin fan. I got my P. But
That's a pirate.
He's looking for something positive in this time.
The only thing positive is he got a $5 hat for $1. And I just had to share this with you. Now, we had a nice weather day in the 60s. You know, not bad, little gloomy. Now, my buddy's Smoking Jim. It'll be like 10 degrees below zero. And he comes in a little work outfit that he got for $15. Tonight, he got a $100 hoodie that he paid $2 for out of the back of a, I don't know what vehicle it was.
a good deal.
And then he'll,
Look, did you clip your mic to the string on your hoodie?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, it worked.
can Buck hear him? Can you hear Smoking Jim?
There we go.
There, get me back up.
But hey, I experienced.
Sorry to disclaim it, but my point is he picks out something negative, like when they're winning. Did he even mention Penguins once? No. So carry on. Your point was.
I do a lot of dealing on Major Harris Street. I can get some good stuff. I was with my man Major last night. But hey, Al Levine and Talk Machine. Oh, poor Major Harris was complaining at Rivers. He had the over in the Cincinnati Cleveland game, and at halftime it was only 11 points. So he was a little upset, but it ended up going over. But Al Levine and Talking Machine.
Am I listening to you?
I experienced my first Red October. I was in Philadelphia all weekend, man. And I tell you what, Al Levine and Talking Machine, they was going crazy over the Phillies. You know, and the Phillies was down the
Hold
first
it.
game.
It's not like they're in the World Series.
Smoking Jim.
Yeah, Red October.
Do you know anything about Philadelphia fans?
I know their hoagies is good.
You don't know anything about Philadelphia fans.
And the Doubletree got good cookies.
Let me explain how simple it is. Philadelphia fans love their Philadelphia teams better than any Steeler fan.
Even the Flyers?
Wait. And then when they do bad, they hate them more than anybody else. And when did you hear of a town that has a jail cell in each of their stadiums?
I didn't know that. They got a good
Now, you want to criticize people right and wrong. You don't know, you're bragging about Philly, and you don't know how they are.
I never knew they had
Yeah.
cells.
Yeah, friends of mine were in Philly and told me. We're going to move on, but we got Jim Ellenbogen watching. Amy's watching. Amy says, hello, guys. Welcome back, Nick.
I'm watching.
And Ralph, I have to say what comes
I am
up.
here, right?
I just read. Ralph said, what about their cheesesteaks?
Yeah, I was supposed to.
You didn't even eat one.
I was supposed to bring Ralph back. But here, let me close out with this.
You better make it quick because you've been so negative.
It's a sad day. It was a sad day for me when my favorite Steeler of all time, Roy Jefferson, got traded. Jimmy Smith could have been a
You're
great
not
wide
even going
receiver
there
here.
with Chase.
Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown,
He's going
and
to Chase.
now Chase Claypool.
Hold it, disclaimer.
6'5", 240, 4'3", 40. I'm glad the Steelers got a second-round draft pick, and I hope him and Justin Fields.
Oh,
do
I got to
very well.
interrupt you again. Sorry, folks. I'm not picking on him, but we didn't hear anything about how great the Steeler receivers are, and he never even mentioned Chase Claypool. My thing is they're rebuilding, and they finally confirmed it. I was going to say this on my segment, but I'll say it now. They confirmed it because they traded Claypool when he woke up the last 2 weeks and played better. Where was he the whole season? You won't mention that, Mr. Negative. And they got the top value for him right now. What would we get for him at the end of the season? I rest my case, and you're done. We're moving to Jim Guns Ellenbogen.
Well, Machine, I see you have your red on.
Yes.
I figure you're fired up.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
But as usual, you look good.
Ah, thank you. Can come back anytime.
Well, I don't know. I guess the whole Steeler thing just really bugs me, period.
Yes, sir.
Tomlin, you know I always call him James Bond because
Yeah.
he gets away with anything.
He doesn't. Yeah, but he doesn't look as good as James
Look at
Bond.
Smoke, yeah.
He don't look as good as you either, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Thank you. You're welcome back again.
The thing about Tomlin, like everyone in the city screaming, fire Canada. And I believe that he didn't fire Canada because if he fires Canada and the team still plays like garbage, he's exposed that it's his fault. That it's his fault. He's the
Smokin's
head
been
coach.
talking about his best friend like that for years.
And that's the way I see it. This
Just
Claypool
the
thing,
truth tonight.
I'm not sure. And you're right.
Thank you.
They did get the highest value they would get for him. But when you only got 5 receivers left, this is a confirmation to me that Tomlin bought some of those Reese for his team that he just threw the season away.
Only $15 a wreath.
I mean, that's what
He's a millionaire. He's a millionaire.
That's what it appears to me that they've given up on the season. I mean,
It confirmed it for me.
I've heard a lot of criticism of Claypool.
Yeah.
He's one of them kids that has talent, but he's like a wild bronc. The right guy can make a superstar out of that
Let me
kid.
interrupt you. I always tell people, because Smokin' Jim knows him, he played with him, and sometimes he's that guy. I call them, they got great talent, but they have a 2-cent brain.
Good point.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why we see that, and it's disappointing for us. But this just confirms what we all believed the last few years.
This receiving core is, if you would take these receivers and put them under a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Brady, they'd be lighting the whole league up.
Yeah.
But the plays that are being called, the way that they're being coaches, I say this all the time. When you take off them helmets, some of these kids are 22, 23.
Yeah, they're
a lot
young.
of them are not mature. They're full of emotion.
Well, how about the ones at 35 that aren't mature?
You have Aaron Rodgers. You have that
Yeah,
too.
I had to bring up Karen Rodgers.
Right. But the thing about it is, good coaches know how to manage these kids and
Right.
get them to play, sometimes even for them, and that's what makes them great. So, I don't know. Like I said, Pirates blew it up. Steelers blew it up. Now the Penguins have lost 4 in a row. I don't know. Good thing I have like 15 NFL hats in my downstairs because I'm going to start wearing some of them. So.
Well, don't you have like a 92-inch flat screen TV downstairs
I
like
do.
Smokin' Jim?
I do.
He does too.
But I will say one thing. I do have a Philadelphia Eagle hat. And contrary to what I heard last week,
Yeah.
and I said that buy a wreath for the
Go ahead.
Steelers against the Eagles, I was told that they were going to win by a field goal, but I'm happy to say that I was right.
And I thank you because I made a ton of money on that.
Disclaimer. Another disclaimer was
Did you think-
thank you, Jim. But and that's Jim Ellenbogen, not Jim Frazier. Smokin' Jim always bets. He's a degenerate gambler. We can't help
Ton of
it.
money.
We can't help it. He'll bet on anything, especially if it's sports. And I told you last week that you could bet with him. And my son even said, Drew said, hey, Smokin' Jim made money this week for the first time. And what a season he's having. Shout out, Drew.
In conclusion, I'd like to just say this.
Go ahead.
I asked Smokin' Jim about that.
Yeah.
He told me you're only degenerate when you lose.
Well, he does a lot.
And as far as Tomlin goes, I listened to his press conference, and for the 10th time this year, I have no idea what he was saying. He's the guy that says to you, did you walk to work or carry your lunch? You know, what's
Yeah.
the difference between an orange? is a quarter in the winter in the mountains. Everything he says, you could go either way with it.
Hold it.
Bro, he was asked, it's like, you're in uncharted territory now, so what are you going to do from here?
What does that mean?
But no, that's not what he said. That was a question he was asked. He said, what are you talking about? And the guy was like, you're 2-6 now. He's like, I've probably been there before.
Where were we at when we was 2-6?
What?
No, we missed that. Well, thanks for your closing remarks. And Amy says, I like your haircut, Nick.
Thank you.
And she's complimenting everybody but me, but I can handle it. She said, Smokin' Jim, I like your hat, even though you're not a Pirate fan. I added that.
Nick got a brother cut.
Then we got somebody, Joseph Paravati. He said, did you bring enough for everyone? They sponsor our show with an XL pepperoni pizza and a foot-long steak hoagie, and it's cut 6 ways. So
It only looks like Smoking's eating it all, but no, he shares.
hey, Guns said he knows you, Joe, and he goes, we left 7 pieces for Smokin' Jim.
I know Joe Paravati. He's probably mad that I told you you look better than he does today, and that's probably why he said that.
Whoa. Well, I appreciate the compliment to another good-looking guy. All right, let's move on to VIP.
Yes.
No, it's not his time. It's what's on your mind.
Almost there. No, okay.
We were close.
Steeler fans are nutty, and I figured that out because I work in a place where people call it a vent. Let me just tell you, some people don't call it get on the air; they just call it a vent to me, and I'm like, bro, I'm taking other callers. I don't know what you want me to do about that.
Call another number.
So let's call somebody. But like, it's so crazy, and I hosted a show yesterday morning, the Fan Early Morning Show. Thank you.
Congrats.
You sounded great.
Thank you. But I had to.
And you look great, too, on the radio.
For those of you that didn't hear, I'm sure most of you didn't, because that's early in the morning. This is
I wasn't up.
I want you guys to hear this clip. This man called in. And listen to Paul Alexander. This was from Sunday night after the Steeler game on our reaction show. And just watch this man be confident and then backpedal.
Good quarterback. I mean, Kenny Pickett.
He's not.
Pickett,
You know what? Well, if you look at Kenny Pickett's numbers right now, he's not a good quarterback.
Yeah, he could be though. And they have 3 great receivers that they can pass to.
I'm gonna temper the greatness here. You know, Deontay's not great. Claypool's not great. These guys aren't great.
I mean, they suck.
He goes, yeah, they suck. In 35 seconds, Paul Alexander got this guy from going like, yeah, we got a good offense to, no, they suck. So, yikes. So this is just what Steelers.
How did you handle it, though, my friend?
I didn't talk to the guy.
No, but he was ranting.
I laughed. I was just like, yeah, this guy had to backpedal. This guy sounded so nervous, too. I feel kind of bad. But he was really coming on to be like, you know what? Have some promise in the offense. No! Don't have promise in the offense. That's a bad idea. The offense is not good. Don't ever try to defend the offense. They're doing really bad. But just we got guys calling in like, oh, the Pittsburgh is never gonna have a championship again. Okay, okay. So I mean, it's just everybody needs to calm down. I mean, coming from a guy who can't remember the last time the Steelers had a losing season, because I literally grew up. I might have been like born into Ben Roethlisberger universe. I can't remember anything, and this breaks my heart. I've said it on this show before. It breaks my heart that the Steelers aren't winning. I don't remember the last time they had a losing season. I hear that the last time they had a losing season, they ended up drafting Ben Roethlisberger, who led the Steelers to 2 Super Bowls. So I have a little optimism. It's okay to cycle through fresh faces. But the Steelers are suffering through bringing the band back together, giving fan service, even though I think Pickett has potential, but that's just me. I did want them to draft him. But the Penguins are bringing the band back together, and my heart probably would have been broken too had they not signed back Letang and Malcolm. But, like, while we're being forced into the Steelers being a terrible team, let's embrace that by just accepting that this is the cycle of sports. And somebody said Art Rooney wasn't a good owner as well. And I was just, but hold on. He said he was a terrible owner.
He was a great owner.
Listen, hold on. I wanted to compare him to the Pirates, essentially, because these are the same people that call in and say that Bob Nutting's not spending enough money, yet Art Rooney's spending money on 2 top defenders to try to make the team competitive, and retain those guys. T.J. Watt could have walked. Micah Fitzpatrick couldn't have got signed to an extension. And the first game of the season, you saw how much the defense carried the team before Watt got injured.
7 sacks.
I think everybody just needs to calm down. That's what's on my mind. Calm down. Calm down. Everything's going to be okay. All right.
Let me give you a little history why Steeler fans were so calm. Art Rooney was a great owner, and he was so great that he had drunk friends who coached the teams. We didn't win for 40 years when he owned the team. Now, what would people think if the Rooneys lose for 40 years right now?
I don't think they're going to.
I rest my case. We were patient, and then Smokin' Jim loves Bill Cowher like he's one of his brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And he has 2 brothers officially, 120 godchildren. And Bill Cowher in the 80s, early 80s, like 82, 83, guess what? Bill Cowher, Smokin' Jim, you know he had losing seasons, right? You can say yes. Swallow a pizza.
Yeah, he had a couple.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that up to you. So we do have a chance and a time to be patient. And look, I'm only a disgruntled Pirate fan since 1979.
But that's a different team.
Yeah, but I'm saying we bleed black and gold. We don't notice the differences.
I understand. My message right now is to calm down, because I hear a lot of people from the fans talking nonsense.
No, I appreciate that, but that's all I hear all the time, because you have the leadership that what happened to the standard is the standard, and the rubber meets the road.
Well, I'm going to talk about that later on, too.
Okay, then I'll go to what's on my
All
mind.
right.
Thank you. What's on my mind, how can I not jump on the bandwagon that I've been saying whenever the Steelers rebuild, they don't talk about it. Now they showed you, guess what? There's a great light. Like our studio's lit up, all our lighting is back here. Jim Ellenbogen and the Guns, he had to put sunglasses on when he first came in here. It was so bright. And I said Smokin' Jim did that for a year and a half when he was doing his Stevie Wonder routine.
You did.
I thought you put those sun depression lights up for us.
No. Well, we are. We bleed that black and gold, but this is just the rubber hit the road, because you could see it today. They traded Claypool, and then we traded for. Now, if we have such a great defense, just answer me this question. I'll go to the gym table. Why would you get a cornerback, and he was black, from the Commanders?
Well, the Steelers always.
No, if we're that good.
Yeah, they always wanted William Jackson III, and Cincinnati took him right 1 pick before the Steelers could pick. So they reached for Artie Burns, which I told him he would be a bust.
I remember when.
What does that do for them now?
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah,
You're getting like Tomlin. No
That-
wonder
that's
you don't
another-
get along with Tomlin.
Things change, Smoker.
That's another reason I think he threw the season away. It's just, his moves make no sense to me.
Okay.
If you're going to do anything, get some more linemen. Offensive, defensive, get some linemen.
No, the game. I'll just share this with people. When the Steelers are winning in the first half, by a point or two, and then I didn't feel confident that they could keep a lead or win the game. When they were losing at the halftime, I felt hopeless watching the game, because I saw defensive players in the backfield, and people say Najee's washed up. Well, he's playing hurt, and I just have a question. How many of you can do your job on one leg? And I rest my case with the Steelers. Hey, we got to go through ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. I love roller coasters. The Rabbit was my first one out at Kennywood.
I like the racers.
I love the Racer too, and the Thunderbolt. But that's what we're in.
Do you like the Racers because you can bet on them?
He thought he
ask
could.
him.
He thought he could.
Do you agree with me that finally that Najee shouldn't have never been captain? He's not a leader.
No, let me explain something first.
Or how about Trubisky? You agree with that?
No, I told you. Here was the question I put to you. You won't answer questions. I go, who would put a quarterback who wasn't even here last year as a captain?
We're in agreement.
And then who put, well, I can't say it because I'm like you. I don't want to give a yes or no. and then Najee Harris, why would you even think he should be a captain?
Thank you.
And then you're playing him hurt. So.
If I could say,
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things about Najee I'm not sure about, what is he, 3?
Yeah.
He's got a syndrome that when I coached, that I could tell. A lot of times you get a young guy that sees everything around him collapsing, that he thinks I'm the only one that can do this myself.
Yeah.
And what's evident of it, and he's a gutsy kid.
Yeah.
Did you notice that he hesitated a couple times and
Yes.
tried to get outside? Because I think he's got a mindset that if I don't get there, we're not going to get there.
You know what? I have to agree with you so much on it, because weren't we taught by repetitions, don't think, just react?
Exactly.
And he does the opposite. And when he had the Herman Munster boot on and everybody goes, he's the worst number 1 pick we had, I said he's hurt. Then he admitted he had a steel plate. Try to run or turn or jump over somebody. He can jump over a 5-foot bending over guy. He couldn't do that. You never saw it. Now he is hesitant like Trubisky was. You can't audible and don't throw an interception.
That one play is what told it to me when he should have got that first down.
Yeah.
Remember, all he had to do was go forward?
Yeah.
But in his mind, I think he thought, I got to go all the way here because we ain't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what tells me that his head's not right for what's going on up there.
Well,
Again, no coaching.
Well, again, when you're all supposed to back each other, they need a smoking Jim on there. Because he would say, this offensive line couldn't block for their own mother.
But if he was smoking Jim was drafted, none of them guys would be even
No,
be on that
he
team.
would tell him that, and he'd go, because this was a phrase back in the 70s and 60s. They go, why are our tackles imitating Rusty Gates? And we're going to move on to Fiction and Fact with Smokin' Jim Frazier. 10 seconds.
Buck got a lot of bass in his voice, don't he? I like that. Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what.
What?
You know, I'm just going to go over what the Steeler record would be if they didn't. Now, Jim made a good point. He said, with all these great receivers the Steelers got, Brady and
Rodgers.
Rodgers would be great. So would Big Ben. Let's go over what the Steelers' record would be if they had Big Ben. They'd have a win over the Bengals, the Patriots, the Browns, the Jets, Tampa Bay, and Miami, and 2 losses, the Bills and the Eagles. They'd be 6-2 right now. Just to remind people that Big Ben passed for 64,000 yards, 418 touchdowns. In 2020, 2 years ago, he led them to an 11-0 record. He finished the year with 4,000 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. Last year, when everything fell apart, he still led them to a 9-7 record, 3,740 yards, 22 touchdowns.
Hold it, 9-7-1.
9-7.
That half a game cost us.
About that.
I know you
9-7
did. I
and
caught
1.
you, brother.
22 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. Postseason, 12 times he made the playoffs, 3 Super Bowls. And I tell you what, it's a shame when you got a Hall of Fame quarterback who wants to come back, but you got a head coach and a general manager that pushes him out of the door. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Big Ben would take this team maybe to the Super Bowl this year. And that's what's on my mind with Fiction and Fact. Miss Big Ben. Podcast.
Smoking Jim, I know you don't drink or smoke dope. But I wonder what you're on. Because did you see Big Ben couldn't move last year?
22. I seen 22 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions.
You didn't see how he was.
I seen 3,700 yards.
You didn't see how the Big Ben we knew early in his career was out there anymore.
They're
He wasn't.
better blockers this year.
Are you sure?
You know what? He's on something. We're gonna go next segment. We don't have it yet. We'll have a graphic when he comes back, whenever that might be. And Chip's going to get a knee replacement November 28th. Wow. So mark your calendars for the next week. Jim, Guns, Ellenbogen will be here. So we want to hear what the Guns are saying.
Well, the last thing I'm going to say about the Steelers is, I think Kenny Pickett might have a future, provided that they don't kill him first, or he gets some better coaching. I personally, I think that when you get a rookie like that, you got to have more management on him. They gave him free reigns too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's why some of the mistakes he's making, because they're leaving him out there to make his own decisions, and
It's not working out well.
He's not ready for that. It's not. It's just
What rookie is. The speed of the game, from what I've seen and talked to other people, not just Smoking
Russell
Jim.
Wilson was. Big Ben was.
That's 2.
in this.
That's 2 out of 10,000.
Do you
Okay,
have
that's
do you have the
3.
answers to life on the desk there? Why are you
Yeah.
looking down there?
I'm so tired of.
Yeah, he does.
So
No,
tired
good
of-
points, Jim.
Yeah, I'm so tired of hearing about, well, the offensive line gets better. If I jump from here, from one rooftop to the next, and I miss it by 3 feet, phew, so you're telling me I missed it by 6 inches. I still missed it.
You're still dead.
Right, that's right.
Exactly. That offensive line, every great offensive line has had one guy who runs the show.
We don't have that.
No, one of the great ones was Mankins when he was ran the offensive line for New England when Tom Brady was there.
Yeah.
He taught them kids how to play.
Yeah.
The center we had, Pouncey.
Yeah.
He was a good leader up there.
Yeah.
But there's nobody up there leading. And they
Castro.
they keep buying second string guys.
Well,
What's that one guy they got from 65 or he's like
yeah.
I can't think of his
From
name.
Texas A&M. Dan
Moore.
Moore, yeah.
He's a rusty gate. But I did notice,
telling
now
you.
I know what Smoking Jim's seeing because he's had damaged eyes with cataracts and stuff. When he sees the offensive linemen are doing something that I learned in high school, if you want to stop a guy, just stand in front of him. And that gives them a pause for a good running back.
At least make him go around.
Yeah, because they got to go around. So I noticed that they're standing once in a while in front of a guy. But here's the thing. When have you ever seen a big push from the current offensive line? I haven't seen it yet.
They don't
Now,
have
when
it.
do you see one good push?
Look, if I was coaching that offense, the first thing I'd do is I'd put 2 tight ends into block, or 1 blocking tight end, and I put a fullback in there to block, and then at least give me some time.
Yeah, but here's the problem. They hired an offensive coordinator that Smoking Jim spoke bad about. I heard he didn't even get past coaching in high school. So why is he coaching in the NFL? Well, Tomlin liked him. He got coffee for him a couple times.
Hey, one thing about Tomlin though, he's James Bond. When they've expired, they're
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And he's going home to his $8 million and saying, well.
Thanks, Guns. I appreciate it.
Oh, one last point.
Oh, go ahead.
Don't let the Pitt coach off either.
Narduzzi. We'll talk about
They
that.
had that game.
At the end of the show, we'll have some time because I cut that,
Which was
promotion.
impressive.
Yeah, we'll
Now
we'll
you
talk
look good
about.
and you're impressive.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Don't worry, you're coming back in December. Chief said, Rooney wants to win. Nutting just wants to make money and is not concerned about winning. That's my point. The Rooneys always tried to win. It's just Art Rooney wasn't the businessman that Dan Rooney was that created our legendary Steelers. We had 40 years, they called it SOS, same old Steelers. So that's what we may have to go through a few years like that, but we'll see. We're going to go to VIP.
All right.
Look at Jim's head spinning around.
Jamel and Bogan likes the graphic. The reason why I had Smoking Jim's head spin is because he always talked about how I'm the VIP of BPTV, how this happened, moving up fast. So I wanted to make sure that while Chip and Al were grooving, Smoking was mesmerized with the head spin.
Thank you for the
So
explanation.
if you didn't get the hidden meaning there, that's why his head is spinning.
I never got it.
So you're not you put your own spin on it.
Yeah, that's why Guns is a welcome guest. He didn't waste any time. Smoking Jim's still thinking, what does he mean about spinning my head?
I don't know what mesmerized means. All right. Okay. Opinion time. So the Steelers got clowned. Now, there's times when the Steelers lose, and that's fine. Still a respectable franchise. But for the people on the panel who are around their 60s, or you're 29, I guess. So,
No, he never hit 30.
so
Never
whatever
hit
age
it.
smoking is. So when you're clowning, it usually means like that you're getting made fun of at the expense of how you're playing. What I mean by that is that if you saw
explain.
A.J. Brown score his third touchdown, you can't cover me. You can't cover me. Just starts pointing at him. And then how about Kelsey wearing a Batman mask on the sideline?
You know who he was honoring? Smoking Jim's known as Batman.
Listen, they have a Thursday night game, and they felt comfortable enough to pull most of their starters, and then Kelsey's got a Batman mask on the sideline. So here's why this is bad, and here's why everybody needs to just take a step back, and you just got to suffer through this. The Steelers are not a threat anymore, and that's terrible to think about. They're not a threat this year, and I think we understand that. And if the Eagles made it clear as day, that they're not a threat anymore.
Did anybody miss that?
I mean, I'm watching it. I'm just like,
No, I'm asking you a direct question.
did you guys miss it, or did you notice that? Did anybody think that was weird? Because
No,
I'm
no.
looking at that, and I'm like, that doesn't happen.
Here's what I thought. I said the Eagles are one of the smarter teams to notice we have no fight left in us.
Yeah. So,
That's what I noticed.
but that's kind of my whole point there is when I was talking about Tomlin and transparency, and that quote that I had mentioned where he's talking about I've probably been there before at 2-6, which obviously isn't true. At least a head coach, he hasn't been there. So, like, listen, I think it would benefit the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, as somebody who leads and answers questions on behalf of the team, to just release some vulnerability for a minute, right? Like, he's given goofy answers, and he's given the not straight but like accurate answers before, and that's fine because they're winning. And like, you got to make sure that you keep up that, I guess, that standard, because they're making the playoffs, and the standard is to win a Super Bowl. And the
standard's
the
the
Steelers'
standard.
reputation is whatever that means.
Rubber.
But I'm trying to give my own interpretation of that because, yeah.
Here, let me interrupt you. I have to tell you, I understand more than what you think I do, because this is all you grew up on.
Right.
You
So-
heard the rubber will hit the road. You didn't know what it meant, but you knew the rubber would hit the road.
Guys, we didn't
and
keep the
then
lid
what
on
about
it today.
the standard?
We didn't keep
is
the lid on
stand-
it today.
Well,
You got clowned! You got made fun of. But here's what I mean by that. What I'm getting to is
I was
that-
trying to help you.
I appreciate that. But what I'm getting to is that a little bit of
You went on.
I'm trying to think when that happens.
I'm a little bit upset, but I'm not upset in a way that's as drastic as the people I take calls from. But my whole point in that was that a little vulnerability might go a long way with the city. Not necessarily to say that you're trying to lose games or trying to tank to get better draft position, but more like, hey, we're going to start investing in young talent, which is why I supported hearing Chase Claypool get traded, because I'm like, a second-round pick for Claypool is a blessing. That's a good return for a guy like that. But maybe say that, like, hey, we're moving toward future players. We're moving toward younger players getting more repetitions. Let's just learn from this year. I'd love it if he said that. I don't think he's going to say it, but I feel like
Hold
if he
it.
did,
You know, I got the question. Why would he say it when you can't question him on anything? And they wouldn't tank on purpose, and they wouldn't lose on purpose, because they're doing it.
well,
I mean, seriously, so why would he show he's vulnerable? You're just being hopeful,
I'm
and
being
you're trying to be positive with what we're dealing with.
Yes.
But what I'm telling you, like certain instances we've had here, it's hopeless.
this season is hopeless. Not forever.
Did I say 40 years?
Yeah, you did earlier.
Yeah, I said we were
Wandered in the
patient for
desert
40 years.
that damn.
That's fair. I didn't have to be patient. I guess that's why. I keep
That's my
talking about
point,
part.
was
So you got it.
16 years.
Yeah.
And you only had one quarterback that you knew of.
I wish. That's what I mean. I wish. And
He
that's
was a
my
Hall
opinion.
of Famer.
Yeah.
Back to
Yes. I wish that he would be more vulnerable. I wish there was more of an honesty to push toward the players that could develop to be here in the future and absorb the nonsense like the Eagles did, or maybe not. I mean, I don't know.
No,
Just
that's
like,
doing the right thing. You got to give the Eagles 100% credit. They're undefeated. Why would you want to jeopardize anybody getting hit with all the brittle brothers and all the brittle people in sports?
even A.J. Brown pointing was like, that's just out of bounds. Like, I'm like, oh, this is starting something something bad might happen here. But again, if the team kind of took that approach where it's like, let's focus on younger talent and just admit that, I think it would go a long way with fans. Again, Al thinks that that's wishful thinking. Honestly, so do I.
Prove me wrong.
So that's
Prove me wrong.
That's just
I'll take a statement on that. Prove
that's
me
my
wrong.
Vulnerability goes farther than blind stubbornness. That's my opinion.
Go ahead, Jim.
I just want to make one point. I think that the Eagles coach had the ability to recognize that no matter what they do on offense, the Steeler defensive backs will not turn around and look at the ball when it's thrown.
Thank you.
You can't cover
Great.
me. You can't cover me.
And then how do
You
you
got to
spell?
turn around.
Wait, but how do you spell hopeless? That's my question. All right, thank you, Nick.
I think that question was for you.
We're gonna go. No, he doesn't have it. He just looks for negativity, and then when you point the negativity at, he spins it around like he's heartbroken about Claypool. He doesn't give a whatever about
Time he
Claypool.
had 5 large on a freaking Eagle.
Yeah. All right, let's go to my on location.
Look how good he looks.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. On location, we don't have much to talk about, just hopeful things next year. I'll share that with different shows. We already got April, a couple shows booked up in April of 2023, so stay tuned for that. So I'm going to open this up to like a free-for-all with some Penguin talk, even Pirate talk or whatever, but I want to start with the Penguins. They started out great 3 games. They won 4 games. They tied a game. Now they've lost, 4 in a row. Mm-hmm. And Smokin' Jim was betting against them, so I knew he was very happy because he's not a Penguin fan. He's not a Pirate fan. He's I don't know whether you call him a Steeler fan because he sucks in with them and he helps them out on war draft day. But he talks bad about them 85% of the time over 11 years. But we all have our problems with the teams, but I enjoy watching games and critiquing them and all that. I don't live or die on whether our teams win. And for all of you that do, you're in my prayers. And that's part of the problem. When your life is affected every Monday because the Steelers didn't even appear on the field for more than a half. And then when they did play, they didn't look like even a good team. And it was like rubbing dirt in our face with what the Eagles did, and nobody really even mentioned that on the local media. We didn't hear that they sat their team down.
You know what though? I will say this: in the first touchdown that they scored is shocking, and they did this too against the Bengals, I believe, with the trickery where you do a jet sweep to Claypool, who threw a touchdown pass right before getting traded. Let's keep that in mind. Left-handed.
Because he is left-handed.
But to Derek Watt of all people, so it's like.
I didn't even know he played.
I didn't know he was left-handed, actually, so I guess that's not as impressive as Smokin' Jim just made that out to be.
Well, it is to him because he thinks everybody's like him.
But listen, I mean, it's like, where does that trickery go after the first drive? Like, those plays are impressive, but like I remember when the Chiefs played the Steelers last playoffs, and the Chiefs are doing all this trickery, and Pat Mahomes is moving and throwing, and I'm just like, okay, the Steelers look like they're doing that, but then they don't. They just keep running these slants, and then they run the ball up the middle. They throw a screen pass on 3rd down on one drive.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
He ain't
that's
had a
what a
good
screen
screen
pass
pass
is.
since French
I
and
know.
Figo used to
Why
get
would
it.
you even think that? Here, I have the answer to your question why they did it. Canada listens to the media. Tomlin listens to the media. They don't want to suck up to him, but they know they had to do something. So guess what? They put their brain trust together for a whole week, and they came up with one play. And it worked. You guys think I'm being simple or funny,
See how excited Canada got?
but I'm being serious.
He looked relieved.
Did you see how happy
He goes, I get
looked?
another week.
Yes. He was like, yes.
No.
I called a play that scored a touchdown.
Thanks for Pete watching us. Our friend Pete Kasich's watching.
That's my man.
Well, the Penguins, you have 3 players it's unheard of in hockey, National Hockey League, that have played 17 years together.
Yes, sir.
And guess what that means? All of us have gotten older. Nick has years ahead of him before he's half our age, but that's another story. Except Smoking Jim, he's timeless. I might even ask to see his government. No, I won't ask about his government ID, because then I'll know what year he was born in.
When he goes out into the corn, he stays young.
Yeah. Field of Dreams, baby.
Have you seen that movie?
Him and
He
Shoeless
doesn't
Joe.
even know
You
what
never saw
they're
that?
talking about.
Oh my God! You love
Yeah.
it.
Shoeless Joe Jackson, Ray Liotta was a great guy in that show. It was great.
Shoeless.
And
Never aged
Ray
very
just
well.
passed away this past year or so. He did a great rendition of Shoeless Joe Jackson, and they played.
Oh, it's based on a true story.
No.
I didn't know that.
Well, here's
Why you
what
lying?
here's what the gist of it
I know
is.
Shoeless Joe.
You know baseball.
Yeah, Shoeless
Well,
Joe
they had a
was my favorite.
cornfield, and the guy had a
Him and
dream.
Ty Cobb.
They didn't play
Yeah.
on the same team. So.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he was one
Well,
of my
that's
favorites.
going back in the 20s.
Yeah.
You know.
He was there.
Yeah, Smoking Jim was there. He was young. Well,
He was there when Jesus cried. Trust
Yeah,
me. He's
right.
timeless and ageless.
there's no doubt if he could read history, he'd know who you're talking about.
You ever see that thing in ancient Greece?
Yes.
Who do you think taught him to throw it?
I understand. The only problem you have is they wouldn't let you do it because guess what the Greeks did? They competed naked. In this day and age, you couldn't put naked men and women in athletic events.
I love the Greeks.
I'm Greek.
I know, that's why I love
Oh, there you go.
There you go. And Smoking Jim doesn't know anything about your history.
Well, I know he got a beautiful sister.
Is that history about you?
Technically, yes.
Slightly.
I mean, he editorialized a bit. I do have a sister, though. That was the factual part of that. I mean, that involves.
He really should
my
come
life
up with a clothes design, as many women as he knows.
I know. Well, look, he did. He got, let me think, $1 hat, $3 hoodie, and what's he got? Sweatpants on? $5 because he couldn't get a cheap one for his size. And then he got size 28 Nike shoes for $5. He has $20 worth of clothes on, and he doesn't get hot or cold.
I shop at Major Harris Boulevard.
Well, how many people can brag about that?
There used to be a guy at the track. that
No,
sold-
anything about sports in the last 5 minutes, you guys, the gym team, you want to bring up
How
about
about,
sports?
how about Pitt?
Narduzzi.
Well, let me just start with this, and then we'll go to Pitt. I just want to say congratulations to one of my favorite players, Bryce Harper. You know, I love me some Bryce Harper, bro.
Oh, did you hear my segment last week? I forgave him.
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, Smoking Jim only learned about him because he was in Philadelphia.
But we can go to Pitt. Go ahead.
I don't even know what to say about Pitt. Narduzzi's lucky he's hiding behind the Steelers.
Yeah. Man,
Well,
they had North Carolina.
He's playing the wrong quarterback, first of all. And
Yeah,
they're
that's
all over the
Slovis,
place.
yeah.
Them kids are all over the place now. And you can see there's a complete breakdown in their offense.
Well, he's had trouble for years because he's supposed to be a defensive genius, and they hired him here. Then he had a guy like Whipple that made, Kenny Pickett a legendary football player who almost everybody on the panel said what a great guy Pickett is.
They might have hired Mr. Whipple, the toilet paper guy.
Yeah, well,
good
they-
as this guy is.
How do you have an argument with a guy that made your quarterback run to the sideline every play, and he came into the running of the Heisman Award?
Yes, sir.
So would that be a bad coach to keep? And then you get a kid from USC, Slovis, and another kid, and what are we getting here?
Good point.
It's
Jordan
just-
Addison leaving hurt, though. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
how do you spell NIL?
but at least Patty knows the players. They know, there's a
That's a
connection
great
there.
point. Great point.
They, a
Yeah.
lot of times when guys know each other, particularly at that age, there's a
Bond, yeah.
there's a brotherhood there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then this kid from Southern Cal, who knows what's going on there? Oh, he come in here from Southern Cal, going to tell us how to play.
Yeah.
You get that too. So I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you one thing: there's a complete breakdown in that team.
Well, I can tell your experience from coaching and kids and just dealing with people in Pittsburgh that you know what's going on. I'm just glad you're sitting with Smoking Jim, who we don't know how old he is.
See, one thing about Pittsburgh, like if you go to Miami and Miami loses like 10 games in a row, Miami fans are like That's our Dolphins. Pittsburgh fans are like ancient Rome. In the Coliseum. If you don't win, you know, just like Nick was saying, you know, this town is more critical than most cities.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, you don't win, you die. There's people that their whole social life depends on setting up that grill and going to every game. Yeah. And that's who they are. I
Right.
mean, watch that show on Saturday. I caught it one night where these people, their whole house is just Steelerized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
God, I
it's
got
true.
thrown out of years ago for doing that.
Oh, you have a corner in your man cave.
Yeah,
with
well,
that,
that's
with that
downstairs.
92-inch TV.
Downstairs, though.
Yeah, yeah. Just like Smoking Jim, he has a lineup of 3 closets. He lives by himself. No, he got 4 closets with, you name the shoes and the clothes. He could pick anything out.
but
He doesn't even have to wash his clothes.
But he doesn't need to because he's got somewhere different to go every night.
Yeah, yeah. Wait till he goes to New Kent after our show tonight.
Well, there you go.
We just don't know her name. But we won't find out. No, hey, thank all of you for watching the show and putting up with us. It is a sad week in Pittsburgh sports. We love our winning teams. That seems to be the emphasis. Poor Nick, some people hold it against him being young. I know that all we looked at with the Steelers is a winning record until now. How would that affect you? Well, it already did. We already had losing
I'm so
teams.
sad.
Yeah, look at him. I actually feel bad for our co-host. VIP struggling right now, but you'll get over it. You'll get over it.
I'll be all right.
We've had losing seasons. Like I'm a
Dreyfus
Pirate
told
fan, but
Kiner.
disgruntled.
I could finish
40
last
years.
night.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Kiner and Dreyfus, right?
yeah. There you go. You know that, no doubt. But hey, Jim Ellenbogen Guns, thanks for being
Thanks
on.
for having
Smoking
me
Jim.
again.
Thanks for being you no matter what. And we love your outfits. And we know you put hard-earned money, which we don't know how you do it, but you put it into your outfits. Nick, always thanks, VIP. Thanks to Buck, the back-to-back 5A baseball champ pitcher.
All right, Buck. Nice guy.
He did great on the camera work. And thanks to all of you for liking our shows and having fun and interacting with us. I appreciate all of you. And we'll be back again next week, and we'll give you our opinions. And with Smoking Jim, almost no facts, but Nick and I try to provide facts. And Guns Ellenbogen, he provided all the facts that he knows with his opinions, so it's appreciated. So I'm going to end the show like I always do. Please stay Joey strong.